Most men think women want polite, quiet guys who never ask for anything. But the truth is the complete opposite. The men women remember, the men they feel drawn to, are the ones who know exactly what they want and aren't afraid to say it. In this video, you'll discover a simple psychological shift that instantly changes how women see you. A shift so powerful, it can completely transform your confidence, your presence, and the way women respond to you. And it all starts with two simple words: I want. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn might completely change the way you communicate with women forever. Have you ever wondered why some men seem to move through life with ease around women, while others overthink every word, every gesture, every moment? Why one man hesitates, waiting for the perfect moment that never arrives, while another man simply steps forward, and somehow everything seems to fall into place? Pause for a moment and really think about that, because the difference is rarely about looks, it is rarely about money, and it is almost never about luck. More often than not, the difference comes down to one simple thing: clarity. Clarity about who you are, clarity about what you feel, and most importantly, clarity about what you want. From this moment forward, imagine having someone guiding you through the subtle psychology of attraction, helping you understand the signals, behaviors, and emotional dynamics that often go unspoken. My role here is simple: to speak honestly, calmly, and clearly about the things many people are too afraid to say out loud. Every week, we explore the deeper layers of human connection, how confidence works, why certain behaviors attract attention, and how mindset can quietly transform the way people respond to you. Because the truth is, attraction is not random. It follows patterns. It responds to energy, and it reacts strongly to confidence. In a previous conversation, we explored how a man who might see himself as average can still attract someone he considers far out of his league, simply by changing the way he frames his own value. That lesson alone has changed the perspective of many men. But today, we are going even deeper. Today, we are going to talk about something extremely simple, yet incredibly powerful. A mindset shift that can transform the way people respond to you almost immediately. But before we get there is something important we need to address. Most people grow up hearing the same advice again and again. Be polite. Parents say it. Teachers repeat it. Society reinforces it constantly. And of course, politeness and respect are important values. But somewhere along the way, many men misunderstood what that advice truly meant. Instead of hearing "be respectful," they quietly translated it into something very different. They began to believe that expressing their desires directly was somehow wrong. They started thinking that asking for what they want might seem pushy, or selfish, or even disrespectful. So they stayed quiet. They hinted instead of speaking clearly. They waited instead of leading. They hoped instead of asking. And over time, that habit created something even worse: confusion. Because when your intentions remain hidden, people cannot respond to them. When your desires remain unspoken, opportunities simply pass you by. You might feel polite in that moment, but the reality is something very different. You are being unclear. And unclear communication rarely benefits anyone. It wastes time, it creates mixed signals, and it often leaves both people feeling uncertain about where they stand. Think about it. How many times have you replayed a conversation in your mind afterward, wondering if you should have said something differently? How many opportunities have slipped away simply because the moment passed while you were still deciding whether it was okay to speak up? This pattern is more common than most people realize. But the encouraging news is this: it can change. And the shift begins with something surprisingly small: two simple words: I want. At first glance, those words might seem almost too basic to matter, but psychologically, they are incredibly powerful, because the moment you say, I want, something inside your mind changes. You stop hiding, you stop guessing, and you start leading. One of the most attractive qualities people notice in others is leadership. Not dominance, not arrogance, but leadership. the quiet ability to move forward with clarity. Leaders do not hide their intentions. They do not pretend to want something different just to avoid discomfort. Instead, they communicate honestly. They express their desires calmly and confidently, without apology. And that kind of clarity is surprisingly rare. Many men believe attraction requires complicated strategies or clever lines, but the reality is often much simpler. Men who succeed in dating tend to communicate directly. They say what they feel, they express what they want, and they allow the other person to respond freely. If the interest is mutual, things move forward naturally. If it is not, they accept that outcome gracefully and continue their journey. No games, no guessing, no endless confusion. This mindset shift alone can completely transform how you experience dating and relationships. Because when you stop fearing rejection, you start creating opportunity. When you stop hiding your intentions, you start attracting people who appreciate your honesty. And most importantly, you begin living with authenticity. Now let's explore what this looks like in real life. Imagine you meet someone whose energy immediately catches your attention. The conversation flows easily. You enjoy her company. Instead of spending the entire interaction wondering if she might be interested, you simply express your intention, calmly, naturally. I'd like to see you again. Or, I'd enjoy taking you out for coffee sometime. Notice something important here. These statements are not aggressive. They are not demanding. They are simply clear, and clarity is incredibly refreshing. Because most people are used to vague signals and confusing conversations, direct communication stands out. It feels confident, it feels honest, and it creates momentum. Another situation might involve friendships that start to develop deeper emotional layers. Sometimes two people sense that something more could exist, yet neither person speaks about it. Weeks turn into months. Both individuals remain uncertain. Eventually, the moment disappears. But a confident man handles that situation differently. At the right moment, he simply shares his truth. I enjoy spending time with you, and I feel like there might be something more here. Again, notice the tone. Honest, respectful, clear. This approach does not pressure the other person. Instead, it gives them the freedom to respond authentically, and that freedom is essential. Confidence and respect can exist together beautifully. Leadership is not about ignoring someone else's feelings. It is about expressing your own intentions while remaining open to theirs. Now, you might be wondering, what if this kind of direct communication feels uncomfortable at first? That reaction is completely normal. Most people have spent years avoiding it, which is exactly why a simple daily practice can help rewire that habit. Consider this a small challenge. Every day, use the phrase, "I want," at least 5 times. Not only in dating situations. Use it in everyday life, when ordering food, when making plans with friends, when deciding where to sit or what activity you prefer. For example, I want a latte today. I want to sit by the window. I want to go for a walk instead of watching TV. These small statements may seem insignificant, but they create an important shift inside your mind. They train your brain to recognize that expressing preferences is completely normal. And over time, that habit strengthens your sense of personal clarity. Within a few days, you may begin to notice subtle changes. Your voice becomes steadier. Your posture improves. You hesitate less. People respond differently when they sense certainty. Confidence has a quiet but powerful energy. You do not need to announce it. Others feel it naturally. Women especially tend to notice this shift quickly, because many interactions they experience involve hesitation or uncertainty. When someone communicates with calm confidence, it stands out. And here is another unexpected benefit of this mindset. You begin valuing your own time more. When you express what you want clearly, you also become more aware of what you do not want. You stop chasing situations that do not move forward. You stop investing energy into people who constantly create confusion. Instead, you focus on connections that feel genuine and mutual. Your attention becomes valuable, not because you declare it, but because your actions quietly demonstrate it. You show that your time matters. You show that your presence has value. And that shift in self-respect changes everything. It influences how people perceive you, how they treat you, and how they respond to your energy. The transformation may feel subtle at first, but over weeks and months, it becomes undeniable. You begin walking through life differently, more grounded, more intentional, more authentic. Opportunities that once felt out of reach begin appearing naturally. Conversations flow more easily, connections form more quickly, and perhaps most importantly, you no longer feel trapped inside your own hesitation, because you have learned something many people never fully understand. Confidence is not about being perfect. It is not about saying the cleverest thing in the room. It is simply about being honest, with yourself and with others. When you say what you mean, when you express what you want, you give the world something incredibly rare: authenticity. And authenticity has a magnetic quality that cannot be faked. People feel it, they trust it, they respond to it. So as you move forward from this moment, remember this simple idea. Do not hide your intentions behind silence. Do not bury your desires beneath endless politeness. Respect others, of course. Listen carefully. Remain thoughtful. But never be afraid to speak your truth clearly. Because the moment you do, something remarkable happens. You stop waiting for life to choose for you. And you begin choosing for yourself. And that quiet shift, that simple act of clarity, has the power to transform not only your dating life, but the entire way the world responds to you.